Hello everyone, you're watching Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through top news across Canada. Robbery suspect loses shoes during altercation with victims in Pickering, police. Terrorized to death, animal advocates call for ban on dog hunting enclosures in Ontario. Not sure there's much choice, Chow says she's reviewing Toronto's secret deal to host FIFA games, but ink already dry. The Scarborough RT has been officially decommissioned following derailment. Everything he did was rooted in positivity. Toronto construction worker killed in industrial accident remembered. Alleged TTC subway pusher will argue she's not criminally responsible due to mental disorder if found guilty. Law Society of Ontario Appeals Tribunal ruling which allows man who sexually abused children to practice law. These were the headlines. Now let's jump right into the details. Before he fell to his death at a wastewater processing plant in Leslieville, Orlando Ponte was a devoted husband and father of 4 children. His daughter Annie told Awaz News. A construction worker by trade, he was well on his way to becoming a realtor. He finished his real estate license last year because he was eager to start his journey as a realtor, she said in an interview. He wanted to combine his experiences in construction and real estate development. Ponte brought his entire family to Canada from Venezuela in 2012, working long hours at multiple jobs in order to provide for his family. Ponte died on August 17 when he fell some 30 stories from the Ashbridges Bay wastewater treatment plant in Leslieville. JD Contractors of Canada issued a statement soon after saying they were deeply saddened by the incident, which a representative for the company said occurred on the site of the Coxwell Bypass Tunnel construction project. We intend to fully understand the circumstances that led to this incident and will provide all necessary support to ensure a thorough and transparent review. He continued. JD Contractors will be providing grief counseling and support to employees affected by the incident. Our deepest condolences go out to the family and loved ones, the statement concluded. He loved his kids, Ponte's daughter said. He was extremely smart and wise, always with an answer for everything, and everything he did was rooted in positively. Above all else, he valued an abundance of love in all he did. Police are searching for a suspect who allegedly robbed a couple of jewelry in Pickering early this month. The incident happened on August 2nd near Asley Avenue and Burkholder Drive in the area of Sideline 26 and Taunton Road. Durham Regional Police said a man and a woman were returning home when an unknown man approached them in the driveway and allegedly forcefully removed jewelry from one of them. A physical altercation ensued that resulted in the suspect being stripped of his shorts and shoes, police said. The suspect then fled to a vehicle that drove away, heading north on Burkholder Drive. Police said the victim suffered minor injuries. On Thursday, investigators released a photo of the suspect who is described as black male between 20 and 30 years old with a medium build. He was last seen wearing a black jacket, white socks, and neon green gloves. A photo of the suspect vehicle, a black 4-door, possibly 2015 to 2018 Volkswagen sedan, was also released. Police said the car may have damage to the rear passenger door. Investigators are looking for witnesses or anyone who has video footage to contact them at 1-888-579-1520 extension 2564 or Crime Stoppers anonymously at 1-800-222-8477. An animal advocacy group is calling for dog hunting enclosures to be banned in Ontario, arguing that an investigation which includes hidden camera video footage found hunters allegedly participating in cruel practices that left both prey and predator with injuries. In June, the Duckford government passed an omnibus bill that, among other things, would allow for more fenced-in train and trial areas in the province. Licensing was halted by the progressive conservative Mike Harris government about 2 decades ago. However, 24 enclosures remain in effect in Ontario. The enclosures allow hunting dogs to track wildlife like coyotes, foxes, and rabbits across relatively large fenced-in areas. Animal Justice, a non-profit organization that lobbies for stronger animal protection laws, began their own investigation into these enclosures in the spring. One of their members went undercover to one of the train and trial areas in eastern Ontario and witnessed a competitive event in which multiple hunting dogs were set loose on coyotes in hopes of winning prizes. The faces of the hunters were blurred in the video and names were not used. They also did not reveal the name of the licensed hunting areas. In the graphic 10-minute video, groups of dogs are seen running through forested areas within the enclosure to track down coyotes. Judges are placed throughout the enclosure to count how many dogs are actively participating in the chase. That same participant can be heard on camera saying numerous coyotes are killed a week and that even more wildlife in the area is injured. In one part of the video, animal justice share video and photographs from private Facebook groups showing coyotes being mauled by dogs within these penned areas. In one frame, an owner is seen encouraging two dogs to get her while a bloody and already injured coyote lays helpless on the ground. There were also photographs of dogs that had been injured in the pursuit of coyotes. The letter says that while they would ordinarily recommend alternatives such as more robust licensing and oversight, these would not address the psychological harm caused to wildlife or the transport of animals to the enclosure. A spokesperson for the ministry said that conservation officers inspect, train, and trial facilities to ensure they meet strict requirements and will not hesitate to issue fines. However, two former Ontario conservation officers told the Canadian press in May that any legislation governing these training facilities are largely unenforceable. They reported hunters catching coyotes daily and many of them were killed. Both of these individuals also called for banning of train and trial areas. Under the new legislation, the Progressive Conservatives will repeal the freeze on new licenses and set a one-time 90-day window in which new applicants can submit their requests. Operators will also have the opportunity to transfer licenses to others, something not previously allowed. Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow says she is trying to make agreements over the city's 2026 FIFA bid more transparent, but said they were already signed before she came to office and the city must now do its best to realize any economic benefits from the games. I have asked for all the budgets. I will examine the budget very carefully. We'll make sure that no money is wasted, Chow told reporters. As you know, the bid has been awarded. Toronto and Vancouver are set to host several 2026 World Cup games as part of a joint bid between Canada, the US, and Mexico. However, there have been questions around the transparency of the bid and whether the city could be left footing the bill for cost overruns. A report in the Toronto Star Thursday said the terms of the contracts with FIFA compel the city to keep the details secret. But while Chow said she's pushing for more transparency, she acknowledged there may not be much that can be done to change the agreements now. The Canadian Taxpayers Federation renewed a call Thursday for games to be cancelled. Because the deal is secret, it's not clear what penalties might be involved if the city were to pull out. The estimated cost for hosting the 5 games is $300 million, with the city expected to chip in around $90 million. According to the city, the province and the federal government are expected to cover around 2/3 of the total cost, but the commitment has not been finalized. Chow acknowledged that spending money to the host international sporting event might raise eyebrows at a time when the city is facing serious financial turmoil. However, she said the deals were signed before she came to the office and said the event could still bring in money through tourism. Service will not resume on Scarborough's Line 3 following a derailment last month, officials confirm. The train, whose service was originally scheduled to end on November 18, will now be decommissioned. A month ago, on July 24th, a Scarborough Rapid Transit train car derailed near Ellesmere Station, sending 5 people to hospital with minor injuries. The train has been out of service ever since as officials investigated the incident. The Toronto Transit Commission said in the days following the derailment that Line 3 would not be operational for a few weeks, with shuttle buses running in the meantime. Among these measures include providing frequent high-capacity bus service. As of August 22nd, TTC contractors and the city's Transportation Services Department started installing temporary road signs to establish bus-only lanes. Starting August 26th, the new shuttle service will start running. There will be one curb lane southbound on Midland Avenue and another northbound on Kennedy Road between Eglinton Avenue and Ellesmere Road. The Scarborough RT had exceeded its lifespan by a decade and was set to be decommissioned entirely on November 18. The city and TTC staff had been working toward a November 19 restart for bus replacement along with 6.4-kilometer SRT route prior to the derailment, with buses running between Scarborough Centre and Kennedy Station southbound on Midland Avenue and northbound on Kennedy Road. Now, officials say they are looking at other measures to make on-street improvements while also setting up a temporary bus staging area in the north side of Kennedy Station as construction of the new bus terminal carries on. Once completed in November, 8 bus routes will run through the station, eliminating commuters' needs to transfer. In the long run, officials say buses will run in a designated lane along with Line 3 corridor until Line 2's East Subway extension opens, adding the TTC will look into how it can remove the existing track and power systems and build this right-of-way sooner. Prior to official announcement, transit advocacy group TTC Riders held a memorial service for the Scarborough RT to commemorate and remember its life and call for solutions, including but not limited to installing bus-only lanes and obtaining provincial funding for free GO transit to TTC transfers. We are quite focused on Scarborough because it's very heavily pinned on the bus network. That's our commitment, Green said. The woman accused of pushing another woman onto the tracks at a Toronto subway station last year will argue she's not criminally responsible for her actions if found guilty, citing a diagnosis of schizophrenia. Edith Freeney, 46, was charged with attempted murder and aggravated assault in April 2022 after she allegedly pushed Shams Al-Baluchi, 40, onto the subway tracks at Bloor Yonge Station. Al-Baluchi was able to roll under the overhang of the platform, preventing her from being hit by the train. She sustained serious injuries. Freeney and Al-Baluchi were unknown to one another at the time of the incident. On Tuesday, Freeney's judge alone trial began at 10 Armory Street in Toronto. The accused appeared via video from the Centre for Mental Health and Addiction in downtown Toronto, where she is being housed. Freeney, who was confirmed by the judge as fit to stand trial Tuesday, is also pleading not guilty in connection with the assaults of 2 other individuals and 2 allegedly stealing from someone at a Tim Hortons a month prior to the subway station incident. If found guilty, Freeney will argue she is not criminally responsible due to a mental health diagnosis of schizophrenia, according to her legal representation, Nicola Zinnes. If found guilty but not criminally responsible, Freeney would be returned to hospital rather than be incarcerated. Zinnes confirmed to Awaz News Thursday that the psychiatrist who evaluated Freeney is expected to testify on the diagnosis at an upcoming appearance next month. Following the incident, Al-Baluchi filed a civil lawsuit against the Toronto Transit Commission (TTC), claiming it failed to implement sufficient safety protocols that could have prevented her fall. The lawsuit is seeking $1 million in damages. Court documents show that Al-Baluchi is currently facing her own set of unrelated charges, including assault and a failure to comply with release orders. As of Tuesday, she is also in custody. In a statement of defense filed in response to Al-Baluchi lawsuit, the TTC claimed it was not at fault for the incident and that Al-Baluchi chose to stand close to the edge of the platform and failed to pay due care and attention to her surroundings in the moments before she was pushed. Legal representation Darrell Singer called the TTC's response is akin to victim blaming in an interview with Awaz News last year. It's kind of like blaming the rape victim for wearing a short skirt, Singer said. The lawsuit is ongoing and neither party's claims have been tested in court. The Law Society of Ontario is appealing a tribunal ruling last month that found an Ontario man who admitted to sexually abusing children can practice law in the province due to his good character. In a rare statement issued Thursday, the regulator said it wants to ensure the public is aware of the current status of this matter, in which the individual identified only as AA due to a publication ban was cleared to work as a lawyer in the province under certain conditions. In the case of AAV Law Society, the tribunal found that AA is of good character and eligible to be licensed as a lawyer. The Law Society argued against his finding and is now appealing the tribunal's decision. The LSO said Thursday about the man who a psychiatrist diagnosed as a pedophile in a remission. According to the Law Society Tribunal's July ruling, AA who is not currently licensed can practice law in Ontario as long as he doesn't meet with minors while unsupervised, completes certain administrative requirements, and is called to the bar. The LSO said it is challenging the publication ban of the Ontario man's name, which was put in place after the tribunal found that revealing his name could lead to the identification of his children who don't know about the abuse. As well, the LSO said it is filing a motion for a stay of the tribunal's decision, which, if successful, would prohibit AA from becoming licensed and practicing law. Specifically, the LSO said that by accepting AA's testimony without scrutiny and failing to address inconsistencies regarding the sexual acts, the ruling is unreasonable and cannot stand. The incidents of sexual abuse took place on 3 occasions in 2009. AA was living in another country at the time and working towards becoming a religious leader. AA was confronted by a father of one of the abused children, according to the ruling. AA then disclosed his actions to multiple parties, including his then wife and Child Protection Agency. No criminal charges were laid, but AA was put under conditions stating he had to be supervised when around children. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.